How's it going, Madison?
It's going great, Dylan. What's up with you?
Oh,
How's
nothing
it been?
much. It is a Christmas season.
It is.
I am feeling jolly and full of
La
mirth.
la 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 la.
My thoughts exactly.
Right?
And yeah, things are going very well. At the same time, since around the middle of November, a lot has been taking place. And it is not necessarily unprecedented, but to the degree that it's happening is certainly unprecedented.
Okay.
And this is exactly what I want to talk about today. Before we continue, however, this is My Existential Crisis.
The podcast where we talk about all the things that make us question our entire sense of self.
My name is Dylan.
And my name is Madison. Cut the bullshit. We're getting right to it.
I have an important question.
Okay.
Madison, do you believe in aliens?
Aliens? Do I believe in aliens?
Do you believe in aliens?
I think so. I think so. I don't think I believe in them in the way that, pop culture depicts them. But there has to be something out there.
Certainly.
I am fascinated. This is a really important question. I am fascinated and perplexed and frequently sent into an existential spiral over, what's it called? The Farsi complex or the Farsi conundrum?
Farsi, like the language?
No. What is the
Starseed?
No. Oh, I literally just watched a show about this, and I was okay. You need to hold on for a second.
Pause.
Okay.
Madison is getting her laptop, which, by the way, is not the Mafia laptop.
Not
She's
the Mafia
upgraded
laptop.
since then.
Upgraded. Paradox.
Fermi paradox.
Fermi. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The Fermi paradox. I am frequently sent into a conundrum over that idea because I believe in both so firmly. Because, of course, how could aliens not exist? But yet, it has to align up so perfectly for life to exist.
Yeah, I remember this quote, and you've probably heard this before, that there are two possibilities, that we're either alone in the universe or we aren't, and both are equally terrifying.
Exactly. And both are equally possible.
Truly. For much of our lives, in a good part of the 20th century, aliens have existed on the fringe of public discourse. For most people, they're just a fun hypothetical, like what we're talking about now. For example, it's common in those kinds of conversations to talk about the size of the universe and the likelihood that there's some kind of extraterrestrial life somewhere. I would say that a good number of people acknowledge that there's probably something out there, but none of these species have visited Earth. Of course, there are conspiracies like Roswell. There have been countless sightings of UFOs, but the public doesn't have any real proof of visitation. Well, the U.S. government has been a lot more forthcoming in recent years about the appearance of what it's now calling UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena. We've witnessed very public government hearings about these UAPs.
Yeah.
And in an annual report published by the Pentagon, there were 21 inexplicable incidents. There was one particularly interesting hearing from the House Oversight Committee called Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, Exposing the Truth.
Phenomena. Phenomena.
Excellent. Just lost all of my momentum.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I couldn't pass it up.
Oh, God. Take me back to the days of the banana phone. Never wanted to go back there ever again. And during this hearing, Tim Gallaudet, a retired rear admiral of the U.S. Navy, said that there was strong evidence the UAPs were of non-human higher intelligence.
Yeah.
The Pentagon report also noted a consistent pattern in describing these UAPs. They're described as unidentified lights and round spherical orb-shaped objects. We're just setting the stage here. This hearing isn't what I want to talk about today. But
it was wild. I remember it first came out during COVID, and it was like, they had to have timed it perfectly. Because, you know what? The world's on fire. Everyone's distracted. Let's talk about aliens.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of
it was just brushed off.
Yeah.
It was like the public reaction was like, all right.
Yeah, what else are you going to throw at me today?
Because I think most people had a suspicion that there were probably aliens.
Oh, yeah.
That the government knew about them.
Yeah.
Well, if you've been watching the news or if you've been on social media recently, you know exactly what I want to talk about today.
Yay!
To really make sense of things, we have to start with the mystery drones. And before I do that...
Folks, you can't see it at home, but Dylan just reached in his bag and grabbed a piece of tinfoil, and he's now placing it over his head.
Tinfoil hats aren't just for potatoes anymore. All right. So around mid-November, residents of New Jersey began seeing mysterious drones flying in the night sky, their presence indicated by flashing red and green lights. This isn't the strangest thing, but the number of these drones steadily increased. They were seen flying over highly sensitive areas like Picatinny Arsenal, a military research and manufacturing facility, and Donald Trump's golf course, for whatever reason. These same mysterious drones... These same mysterious drones began appearing over Ohio, Virginia, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, and other states, showing little concern for the law. Naturally, this got the attention of elected officials who have outwardly claimed that they have no more information on these drones than the public.
I have a question.
Sure.
I don't know if you answer this. You said little regard about the law.
Yeah.
What is the law?
So, for example, the areas that these drones are flying over are restricted.
Oh, that's right. Duh, because military. Shit. That makes sense. Okay.
So when mysterious unclaimed drones show up in the sky flying over restricted areas with impunity, the first conclusion you naturally draw is that it's the government.
Or a government.
Or a government. And the evidence seems to support this. These aren't hobbyist drones. They're clearly advanced, and some of them are reported to be the size of SUVs.
Jeez Louise.
Jeez Louise, SUVs. Around 100 of the more than 5,000 drone sightings reported in recent weeks were deemed credible enough to warrant further investigation.
Jeez Louise. Again.
And that's according to a joint statement by the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, Federal Aviation Administration, and the Department of Defense.
Fuck.
That's a joint statement, all right.
A joint statement.
You know what I mean? As for the government as a whole, they've done a big old shrug. They've said, these drones aren't ours. They don't belong to a foreign adversary. We don't know who's manning them. And they don't present a threat.
Everyone stay calm. We don't know where these came from or who's manning them. And they're over restricted areas and like not listening to our laws. But it's literally fine, guys. Yeah. Don't worry. Just go about your day.
Like, calm down. It's not a big deal. Why are you guys making it a big deal?
Calm down.
Honestly. These drones have been shown flying over military bases. They appear to move in a coordinated pattern, remaining in the air for up to 6 hours.
Jeez.
And might I remind you that just last year in 2023, the U.S. Air Force shot down a Chinese spy balloon. But apparently these quote-unquote unidentified drones are perfectly all right.
I was thinking the same thing.
Even though they're starting to interfere with people's lives.
How so?
For example, Stewart International Airport had to close its runways for about an hour after reported drone activity.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Things might be a little easier to piece together if this was just in the U.S., but unidentified drones have also been spotted over 4 Royal Air Force bases in England.
Wow.
This prompted the British government to request military assistance from the U.S.
Wow.
The call is coming from inside the house. Reuters has also reported that drones have been spotted at a U.S. Air Force base in Germany.
Okay.
And here's where we get to the really weird part of the story.
All right.
The other half of this situation, because it isn't weird already. So the uptick in drone sightings has coincided with an increase in UAP sightings. Remember how the Pentagon described the UAPs as round, spherical, orb-shaped objects?
Yeah.
Well, we've been seeing a lot more objects of this description in the sky.
Holy shit.
Halfway through December, which is around when we're recording this, more people in Connecticut have reported seeing UFOs than any other month in 2024.
Wow.
According to data from the National UFO Reporting Center. And yes, that is a thing.
Wow.
And no, they won't call me back. If you don't trust the testimony of average people, well, I can't blame you. But here's some additional information taken from KGW, a local news station in Oregon. At least 4 commercial pilots reported mysterious lights flying through the skies above Oregon earlier in December. One pilot reported a bright light streaking toward his plane before it suddenly reversed back toward the Pacific Ocean. They described the UAP to air traffic control as being red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast it was moving. Another commercial pilot said the following, and I quote, "We're seeing 3 or 4 targets that are all altitudes up and down. It's pretty crazy." Air traffic controllers confirmed there was no military activity in the area. Some have speculated that these were flares from Starlink satellites, but at the same time, these pilots have a pretty thorough understanding of aerial phenomena. and I think there's a pretty low chance they'd so consistently misidentify something like this. Pilot Joe Booley, great name.
Booley. Booty, ooty, ooty.
Has been outwardly skeptical of the idea of the satellite explanation. To this explanation, Booley said, they don't change directions if they do not rapidly, not at this rate of speed. Now, these are some credible reports. And on top of that, we've seen a massive increase in videos being uploaded to social media capturing UAPs like the Pentagon described. I've seen dozens of videos of these mystery drones, sure, but I've seen just as many videos of UAPs flying over the U.S. in recent weeks.
Do you think we can post any of those?
Sure.
Yeah, you think? Do you have any good ones that you have in mind?
I've saved like 100.
Hell yeah. I haven't seen any of these.
Yeah, they're very, very, very strange.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll post some, but maybe I'll like make a document of them and like just make that public to everybody so they can like look at that if they want.
That's a good idea, yeah. You know, it's not uncommon to see videos of just like, or even anecdotes of flying orbs or spheres or aircraft that
it's been happening for how many years?
And a lot of it can be just described or explained away as being stars or aircraft in the night sky or maybe military technology. But the videos that are coming out deserve a little bit more scrutiny, especially since they're coinciding with these mystery drones, which are unexplained. Now, most of these UAPs appear as glowing orbs of different colors. Some of them look like swirling masses of glowing energy filmed by phone cameras. And of course, let's take a step back. We don't want to dive headfirst into the shallow end. And I know that this is the craziest I've sounded on the podcast, even though we just released an episode on a cryptid beauty pageant.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm sure that the technology available today can easily create realistic images and videos of the UAPs described by the Pentagon.
Yeah.
But there's a massive amount of footage being released and circulated by just regular people. And I recommend the listener look into these videos to decide for themselves. In many of the videos, these orbs are seen floating or flying around the night sky. In one video, a mystery drone flies up to a glowing orange orb only to fall to the ground.
Shit.
Yeah. This has all been enough to catch even the attention of major news outlets. Newsweek, the New York Post, and other outlets have reported on these UAPs. And it's not just in the U.S. These UAPs have been spotted over Egypt, the UK, Argentina, and other countries.
Okay, I just have to like stop you.
Sure.
I have always thought the idea of like imagine a UFO taking an interest in Egypt, which is like where some of the oldest civilization evidence is. That just feels so fascinating to me. Like you have like modern marvels, like how the hell did they make these intricate things without modern technology, and how are they so advanced in all these things? And then you have this other, how are they doing this technology and they're so advanced type thing. It's just it blows my mind, like that juxtaposition, like that feels very poignant.
And I actually touch on that a little bit later in this the script, but
you do?
Yeah, but it's very strange that these UAPs are showing up. And the U.S. specifically has a long history of recorded incidents with these UAPs, more than pretty much any other country on Earth. If you look at like a map of the world with these incidents bulleted in little red dots, you see this massive density, just a saturation of dots in the United States as compared to other countries around the world. Now, that can be explained by saying like, UFOs are pretty much ingrained in our public consciousness, culture in movies. So naturally, when we look up at the sky and we see something we can't explain, that's the first place our mind goes to. But it's certainly strange with everything that's been coming out recently.
Yeah.
By recently, I mean mid-November until today, which is December 18th.
About a month.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I only started seeing it a little bit in like the last week or so, and I was just like, because I thought it was just another thing that them talking about like the Pentagon stuff. Like, yeah, like we've been there, done that, we've heard about that, but I didn't realize it was like this. Yeah,
there was another video that came out the night that I was writing this. I believe it was published in an article in the New York Post or Newsweek, either of those two outlets, of somebody flying in a plane, like a commercial plane, and they take a video out the window, and all along the cloud layer you see these glowing orbs. just sitting there or flying around. Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, it's certainly... Then again, this kind of like alteration of videos is possible with their technology.
Yeah, of course. They could be lights. They could be a reflection. I don't know.
Yeah. So because of that, I recommend, again, that people do their own research and determine for themselves what they think it is.
If you're a video editing expert and you're like, yeah, I can debunk all this and we can easily let us know.
Yeah.
I'm not. We're not, for sure.
Now, these are reputable news sources providing this information. As for what these orbs are, a lot of people are calling them, quote unquote, plasmoids.
Okay.
Have you heard this word before?
Only in the terms of like ghosts, like plasma.
Yeah, so I'm just doing this off memory because I didn't put in the script because I wouldn't want to spend 3 hours.
No, I understand.
But plasmoids, from what I could glean, are essentially sentient balls of plasma.
Yeah.
That form around like a magnetic
People talk about
system.
Orbs very similar to that description, and when they're describing ghosts and like when they're describing things like that, people will talk about like floating orbs or like energy balls or like plasma, things like that.
And I remember reading that the sun is a plasmoid.
I mean,
so these can take many different forms. They can be hot or cold. But what people are seeing and what the videos are showing appear to be floating balls of glowing light. Naturally, a lot of theories have sprung up around these drones and UAPs. I'm going to move through them as objectively as possible.
Okay.
I don't want my own opinion to color the perspective of any listener hearing about this for the first time. And that's why I'm citing so many legitimate news sources here.
Okay.
So let's go through 4 of these theories, and I'm going to rank them from best to worst case scenario.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Theory 1. This is first contact with intelligent life that isn't our own.
Okay.
Yay! It just happened right around Christmas. Yay!
Christmas!
These UAPs, these orbs, are either extraterrestrial or interdimensional. This provides a pretty tidy explanation of the mystery drones the government is using its advanced drone technology to study these UAPs. They're not claiming ownership of the drones because that would open up too many questions they're not willing to answer at this time.
Makes sense.
The government is keeping a tight lid on this because they know this is a very sensitive period of time where they have to maintain as much control as they can.
So just to clarify, I'm so sorry, I know you're still going.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, first best case scenario, first contact, it's actually the government's drones and they're just studying these plasmoids?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was following.
That seems to be maybe the most logical thing that's happening
and,
here.
And, as government does, they don't want to answer our questions because why would they?
Right. And because it would just open up too many avenues of, And John, actually, I talked to him about this, and he said that in Star Trek, what initiated first contact with the human race was the development by the humans of the warp drive.
Okay.
Which is this very special advanced piece of technology. And then the Vulcans came down and introduced themselves. And it's an interesting parallel because I don't know if you've researched Google's Willow chip at all.
No.
But Google recently released information about its quantum computing chip called Willow, which Google themselves claim is evidence of parallel universes.
Oh, shit. Why? How? Tell me more.
If I'm remembering this correctly, it calculated this very complicated math equation that would have taken 10 septillion years to calculate in, I believe, 5 minutes. And using quantum technology. And the only way Google's engineers reasoned that it was able to do this if it was pulling in computational power from other parallel universes.
That blew my mind.
So Google apparently has confirmed the existence of the multiverse. So that's some news. I had so much that I wanted to cover, and I don't know. I went with the mystery drones and UAPs because that seemed the most pressing.
Yeah.
But also...
It all ties together, though. It's great.
Yeah, so apparently, I mean, if we're going along with this Star Trek parallel, humanity has...
Created this
world-shattering piece of technology in the Willow chip, this quantum computing device, and the extraterrestrial or interdimensional entities that have been around the Earth have come forward and are beginning to manifest and intend to introduce themselves.
That would make sense. I mean, people who have claimed to see UFOs for decades have claimed that they live among us. They're just, waiting.
Yeah. So, but that's a sort of like a branch theory to this one.
That's okay.
But yeah,
Willow, Chip.
Nice.
I did it this time.
But yeah, look into the Willow Chip if you get a second, because this is from Google's own.
I need someone to like break down how that proves something and like how they get to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Susan,
please. We just need you on the show.
Just come on board.
So basically, according to this first theory, the government is choosing an information blackout to buy themselves time enough to determine the nature of the UAPs and whether they pose a threat.
Okay.
This explains why they've warned citizens against firing on the drones.
They want that data. They want it all for themselves.
Yeah. And why they themselves haven't fired on the drones when these drones are flying over highly sensitive areas of the U.S.
Yeah.
In short, the U.S. has mobilized advanced drone technology to observe and test the UAPs appearing en masse over the U.S. This theory suggests that we're at the start of first contact with these UAPs, and if things are handled delicately, who knows what it'll lead to. If things aren't handled delicately, when
are they ever handled delicately?
So that's just theory one.
Okay.
Best case scenario. Theory two. These drones and the UAPs are different forms of military technology. Maybe the government has learned how to harness plasmoids, or whatever these are. The U.S. government and other entities are simply testing this new technology, and at the same time, they're monitoring public response for information gathering purposes. So why would they send the public into a frenzy like this? Well, maybe they're preparing for foreign adversaries with the same technology and need to know how the public is going to react. I'm not really sure. Now, this theory is a little scarier because it suggests that we're on the verge of war.
Honestly, at this point, we're kind of already on the verge of war, so...
Yeah. But with whom? Well, there are plenty of countries who are hostile toward the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is the most credible theory for a few reasons. To start, these drones have been shown to closely inspect the UAPs. There was that video I mentioned where a UAP seemed to disable a drone in midair.
What the fuck?
Now, it could be part of a test, but that seems unlikely. And now, there's another side of this theory that the UAPs and some drone technology is actually extraterrestrial or interdimensional.
Okay.
Some people claim that these unknown alien entities are disguising their ships to appear like drones so they don't immediately panic the public, which would suggest that the government isn't lying about this and that the drones aren't actually theirs and that...
Because they're not drones.
They aren't drones at all. Man, I sound fucking crazy. I'm reserving my opinion on this until more information is released.
That's fair.
But at the moment, all we can really do is speculate.
Yeah.
So why not get a little fun with it?
Okay. Let's get twisty.
Yeah, so theory 3. Moving into the third theory, this is where things get really unnerving.
Okay.
Some have speculated that a nuclear weapon has been smuggled into New Jersey.
Okay.
The U.S. government is mobilizing its drones to scan for this weapon before it's used. Remember, this is just third theory.
Yeah.
Out of 4, it's not the scariest possibility. I'll get to that. So this theory suggests that a foreign adversary has somehow managed to smuggle a nuclear weapon across U.S. borders and is planning to use it. This would explain why the government is keeping quiet about its drone operation. They don't want to provide an explanation for why they're scanning these areas, because if they gave an explanation, there would be mass panic.
Yeah.
The situation would quickly get out of hand and make their job a lot more difficult. While this would explain the presence of military drones and the lack of communication to elected officials, it does nothing to explain the presence of the UAPs, nor does it explain the interaction of the drones with the UAPs. So I think we can safely rule this out. There were some rumblings in the news recently that radioactive material had gone missing from cargo that was brought in New Jersey, but I've seen that it was possibly some kind of medical device and not actually a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Which I doubt is carried via a freight
cargo ship.
Yeah. Now, we're going to get a little out there with this last theory because I'm going to talk about Project Bluebeam.
Fuck.
Which is, yeah. So this theory deserves its own episode, but I'm going to break it down as simply as I can without crying.
Oh, no.
Okay, here we go. So Project Bluebeam is allegedly a plan by global elites to establish a new world order using advanced technology to manipulate public perception. There are 4 steps to their plan. Step 1. Fake discoveries. Manipulate archaeological finds and undermine existing religious and historical systems. We're talking ancient aliens here. Mm-hmm. Those theories that Egyptians were in contact with extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
That they appear in hieroglyphics, that kind of thing. All of this was faked to set the stage for Project Bluebeam. Step 2. Use advanced holograms to manifest divine visions and fake an alien invasion. If this theory is to be believed, we're in this step at the moment.
Yeah.
The government is using hologram technology to create these UAPs we're seeing. Eventually, the government will go to war with these UAPs and convince people to unite under a global cause. Steps 3 and 4 are a little weird and out there, even for a conspiracy theory. Basically, they're going to use mind control to foster allegiance to the New World Order. Then stage a massive event like a large-scale alien attack to justify the establishment of a single global government.
Damn.
Now, I don't necessarily think a single global government would be a terrible thing, but the lengths to which these nasty little freaks are willing to go is frightening.
Yeah. Last little freaks.
These nasty little fuckers. So, with all those theories laid out, what seems the most reasonable to you? Or maybe if you have your own theory. So we have these, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We have these mystery drones appearing over New Jersey and other East Coast states, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Ohio.
Are the drones only in this area, but the plasmoids are everywhere? And like the UFPs? UAPs.
So the UAPs are all over the world.
Okay.
But they have begun to show up in increasing numbers.
Since the drones.
Around the time of the drones,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So...
Lay it down. Lay down the truth.
So here's the thing. I'm inclined to think war first. I'm already feeling like we're on the brink of nuclear holocaust, as we're just putting it plain. I've recently lowered my anxiety meds, and it's been a mistake. One day I spiraled so hard during work, I could hardly get anything done, and I messaged David saying about how we needed to prepare.
Holy shit.
I was very, very, very paranoid and anxious that day. But
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, how could you?
I was just whistling.
Yeah, he's like, no. Meanwhile, I'm like panicking and like crying at my desk.
Yeah.
No, so that's kind of my first instinct, because I feel like we're pretty close there tension-wise globally. But at the same time, shit's kind of been hitting the fan in the world.
There is something interesting to say about the nuclear holocaust sort of theory.
Yeah?
Allegedly, these UAPs, these plasmoids or orbs, or whatever you want to call them, are capable of disabling military technology, specifically nuclear military technology.
How do we know this?
There are reports.
Oh, like when you said the UAP was disabling the drone and it fell?
That's one example of them disabling technology, but some people have, based on what evidence, I don't know, this is just speculation,
yeah.
But some people have said that these UAPs are capable of disabling technology like nuclear weapons and have been doing so somewhat frequently.
To protect us.
From ourselves.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, too. Protect us from ourselves. I mean, like... I feel like the world's always in shambles, but like it feels especially in shambles this past year in terms of like global events.
And maybe that's why they've been showing up in mass.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
In the US and Russia and other places.
Exactly. That's kind of like where I'm leaning. I'm also leaning towards these freaky little fuckers
nasty little freaks
are staring down at us, and they're like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like they're seeing us just like plummet into extinction, and they're like, why are you doing this? And like they're studying us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame them.
And the reason that some people have given for them trying to protect us is because a global nuclear holocaust would have implications outside of our own universe.
Exactly.
And other dimensions.
Exactly. And like that's also a very good case for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, listen. I'm
listening.
not a quantum physicist. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not a scientist in any capacity of the word. But I have somewhat of a theory. So, you know how we've seen an increase of solar flares?
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder if somehow they're connected. And what I mean, now I sound crazy. What I mean by that is solar flares are like an increase in energy, and like they can fuck with like your the cell phone service and like lights and like whole grids of energy and stuff. Maybe we are, or someone is using the extra energy from the sun, and because that's what it is, to like propel things so let's say that it was aliens. Maybe they're using the solar flares to propel these things into our atmosphere.
Oh.
If it is the government, maybe they are using the solar flares to spread them. Or maybe they are like harnessing something. I don't know. I'm not a scientist by any means.
That's why I'm here.
But but that feels that's cosmic in some like scenarios, and it's not an abnormal event, but it can still fuck things up like that. So
I could see the parallel there.
Yeah.
And the sun allegedly being a plasmoid.
And with it being in like such a high solar flare season, like it's basically at peak in people's lifetimes, in like the world's lifetime. I don't think it's been recorded to be as strong as this, and it's going to continue all through next year. So
what do you think specifically about this combination of drones and plasmoids
I don't know
UAPs?
I don't know. My first thought was like, this probably sounds so fucking stupid to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about in terms of this stuff, but like it feels like the energy from a solar flare is like, if you could encapsulate that or like use that for a project of some kind, I could see things being moved along in like.
How would that be captured? The sun
I don't
is
know.
Like millions of miles away.
I don't know. I mean, how does the moon affect the tides? It's millions of miles away.
I feel like I should know this. Gravity.
It's a gravitational pull.
Yes.
So like I don't know. Yeah, that's one instinct. But like there are things that we don't know about the universe. We don't know.
Certainly.
Like there's so many things we don't know. Like I'm not claiming to know the answers. I'm not claiming that is a reason. But like something is there that we just don't know yet.
Yeah.
I also think it's very self-centered to think that if there were extraterrestrial, they'd be coming here to take over our planet. Like we're so much better than they are. Like, yeah, like investigating our technology, sure. Like I get that, compare apples to oranges. But like, I don't know if I think studying us is like a better theory.
Yeah. There are other theories as well that I haven't gone into.
I'm sure I just sounded really crazy, Dylan. I'm really sorry.
No, I'm sounding just as crazy.
Okay. Again, people who know what they're talking about, that probably makes zero effing sense.
I mean, what can you really say at a time like this?
I don't know.
I mean, it's clear that... So the wildest theory is that the drones aren't government drones or adversarial drones from other countries. So what are they doing? Why aren't they being shot down? If they are aliens in disguise, that might explain why the government isn't shooting them down. But there's also the interaction between them and the other UAPs as well.
Yeah.
Some people have theorized that these are the end times.
I mean, yeah.
A lot of religious people are praising the Lord and saying that these are the end days, and that
it feels very end daysy.
Yes,
it really does.
And some of the videos of these UAPs appear like biblical angels.
Yeah,
with like
halos
and those like circles, like wheels in the sky that you see described in the Bible.
Okay.
And they say that these are the end days and we only have so much time, so on and so forth. Other people in the spiritual community are saying that humanity has reached a new vibrational level and a new level of consciousness. Jeez. And we're now capable of seeing these things when they were there before.
That's an interesting theory.
But
I think that also makes me think about then like the dimension idea and like the different dimensions and the different timelines and like,
yeah,
did something rip?
Mm-hmm. I mean, with the creation of Willow and the use of that chip, who knows what parallel universes Google has allegedly claimed that there are.
Yeah.
Whether those have been opened into our reality. I am not a scientist. I am but a humble digital marketer.
A humble Dylan.
I'm a humble Dylan. And I don't have a fucking clue.
No.
I'm just trying to piece together what's happening because whoever's listening to this episode who hasn't done the research themselves, please go on to any like news source, CNN, look up the government's own statement on these events that are transpiring right now and form your own opinion because
we certainly don't know.
We don't know at all.
I'm very curious. I mean, in terms of like nuclear holocaust and all those things, you know, my first instinct is like, oh, it has to be like Russia or something, because, you know, tensions are pretty high there.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I mean, nuclear tensions were extremely high like 40 years ago.
The technology maybe wasn't advanced like that.
Oh, like like intercontinental missiles, that kind of thing? I think those are real.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like technology today and technology 40 years ago have like, I could see like plasmoids and like drones being more of a thing today than like intercontinental missiles. Like, yeah, of course they were alive then. Yeah, they were a thing then. But like maybe it's a different type of weapon of destruction.
Yeah. Man.
Sorry to bring that down.
No, it's I like to be optimistic.
Okay, let's be optimistic.
You know, with all the information in front of us,
maybe they're here to save us.
I hope so. I hope that whatever is happening in the skies over the East Coast and in the world, I hope it is resolved peacefully, and that something interesting comes of it. You know, in addition to the videos that I talked about, a lot of people are taking videos of like lights flashing in parking lots and in stores and stuff, and their radios slowing down. Just a lot of like weird stuff you'd see at the start of like an alien movie.
Yeah. It's
just, but it's
well,
also
again,
like,
the solar flares could have to do with the radio. Like, not to say that they're connected, but like that seems like a solar flare thing.
Possibly,
from what I've read.
Very possibly. Maybe all these little orbs are sun babies.
Sun babies!
And we should start calling them sun babies.
Wait a second.
Let's get the branding right on this.
The Teletubby sun babies. They're the Teletubby sun babies.
Teletubbies told the future.
They did.
The giant baby face in the sun?
That they're still sun babies.
Hey, folks. Don't worry.
We got it figured out. Don't you worry.
Holy shit. Yeah, this is even kind of hard to talk about because, I mean, usually this stuff is the domain of conspiracy theorists and nutty people. But, I mean, reputable news sources are...
The world's getting nuttier and nuttier every day, Dylan.
Yeah. The sources for this are, before I conclude this, I just want to assert that the sources for this segment are the U.S. Department of Defense, CNN, Reuters, NBC News, NBC 10 Philadelphia, News Nation, Newsweek, WTNH, and Wikipedia, of course. So whatever's happening, things really seem to be ramping up at the end of 2024.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out in 2025. Keep in mind that this episode is recorded on the 18th, set to come out on the 30th, so things might have changed a lot in those 12 days.
Who knows?
I can't account for those developments. Just do your own research, form your own opinions, and keep your eyes on the sky.
I love that. Dylan, this was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just not a plug, I guess, but David and I just finished watching the third body.
Three Body Problem?
Three Body Problem. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's really, really good.
Is it good?
And it reminds me of this, actually. Like, it kind of has some parallels there in terms of, like, what you're talking about and, like, things making you think that you're seeing things that aren't really there. And, like, maybe, I don't know. It's a really good series, and they're coming out with season 2.
Oh, cool.
But I would highly recommend it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I've heard a lot about that particular series.
It's very good.
It's like the acquisition of the IP and how complicated that was between like Amazon and Netflix.
Oh, really?
And there was a person murdered over it.
Fuck, really?
Yeah, there was the CEO of the company that first acquired the IP was poisoned.
Oh my gosh.
But that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, if you Rotten Mango actually did a episode on that, which you can check out. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah. What are your final thoughts and feelings about what's happening at the moment?
My mind is blown. I'm going to be watching those videos, and I think that I don't know anything, and I don't have a good feeling about any of it. But I don't want to be so doom and gloom.
Yeah, it's making me a little nervous.
Yeah. I'm very nervous. As someone with anxiety.
Yeah.
And who's already spiraled once this month.
But hey, things could lead to something amazing.
It's
something
true.
We can't even comprehend.
Technology is developing so quickly, and it's scary and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
And
quantum computing is going to change everything.
Yeah.
In a big way, starting with the Willow chip.
Quantum Leap by Scott Not by. Starring Scott Bakula.
I
Also
love Scott Bakula.
Great series.
I never seen it.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
Guys, you heard it here for Quantum Leap and Three Body Problem. Those are the ones you gotta watch.
That should be on your IMDb list.
It should be. If not, I will come over through the earwaves and make it on your list. Quantum Leap.
That's a threat, all right. And I'm going to do it quantumly.
Quantum Leap.
So thanks for listening, folks.
Yeah, thank you. You can find us at Emmy Crisis Pod on Instagram and Facebook. You can email us at myexistentialcrisispodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever the Apple equivalent is. Anywhere you get your podcast. Dylan, where can the good folks find you?
At Marblefolk.
Lovely. You should check him out. And me at madison.epley. And you can see my pretty engagement ring that I don't have currently because it's getting sized.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Well, thank you folks for listening, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
holidays. Stay safe.
May 2025 bring you peace, fulfillment, and hopefully a sense of calm.
Hopefully.
Bye.
Bye.